like the sound of a farm right there as a rooster crowing in the morning. But it can also be a bad thing if you've got roosters and you're in a community. Because at 4:30 a.m., your next door neighbors are going to be complaining. And then you're going to have to do something about that rooster.
Sounding out good this morning. Come on, pup. We actually love having roosters on our farm. We've always had roosters. But that doesn't mean that every rooster we've ever owned has stayed on the farm. And in today's video, we're going to talk about what to do with roosters, what you can do, how you can use them, and what to do when you need to get rid of some. So let's get into it. I know, it's a shame it's right here. And pretty fresh.
Hey, match man.
I know,
Did
really.
we plan this today?
We're super
matchy. We like having roosters. We have had them for years on our homestead. We like them because they really are good protectors of the hens.
You'll notice when the chickens are out, like the ones behind us right now, the hens all keep their head down, they're eating a lot, but most of the time the rooster's got his head up and he's looking for either coyotes, hawks, and they have a special crow noise they make. When a hawk flies over, you'll hear the rooster call out and warn the flock.
And the hens will all go hide, everybody hides.
If you can have a rooster, it's worth having a couple.
There was a time, what happened with that? We had a fox in the chicken run once, and I knew there was something wrong just by listening to the rooster, because the sound he was making, it was like there was a danger call he was making. So I ran out there, and sure enough, there was a fox right in the chicken coop.
They do more than just warn the flock about danger. There's other reasons to keep roosters on your homestead. Let's move.
Hush now, my goodness. Enough of you. You don't need a rooster to have your hens lay eggs. You do need a rooster though if you want those eggs to be fertilized and if you want to hatch them to get chicks from them.
Most animals on our homestead, we don't bother breeding because it's too much work, it can be dangerous. But when it comes to self-sufficiency, it is nice to have some animal on the homestead that you know you could reproduce on your own. You don't need outside inputs. Chickens are probably the best option for that. You can have one rooster, and that one rooster, he can fertilize the eggs of all those hens, and in very little time you can grow and grow and grow your flock from just one rooster. So for self-sufficiency, a little bit of self-reliance, it's nice to have a rooster.
We've had a rooster who was able to take care of 20, 30 hens. But if you're going to have more than one rooster, you need at least 12 hens for each rooster. That way the hens don't get bred too much. We have a chicken around here who there were too many roosters per hen, and you can see what happened to her. Plus, if you don't have enough hens per rooster, there'll be a lot more cockfights. And you'll have roosters who start getting hurt and cut up and bleeding. You don't want that either. So it is important to have the right number of hens per rooster if you're having multiple roosters. Okay.
Obviously, if you want to do dual purpose, have chickens for eggs and for meat, roosters grow larger. And so if you want to have some meat birds in your flock, you're going to want to have some roosters. You can caponize them, which is supposed to make them especially delicious table fare. They'll grow faster that way, but we've never done that. One of these days we'll try that. If you've ever done that, let us know in the comments below. How are the capons? They're supposed to be good.
go, pal.
So what should you do with roosters? Well, if you can, keep a couple on the homestead. You could use them for a lot of different reasons. If you have a few roosters, use them.
Yeah, there are times though when you don't need all the roosters you have.
We get a lot of emails. People who are like, will you take my rooster and give it a good home? Or will you butcher my rooster for me?
Yeah, in the emails, people say they can't have the rooster because their HOA doesn't allow a rooster. They can have hens, but no roosters.
Yeah, it's
or
like
their
a
neighbors,
noise problem.
yeah, their neighbors are complaining.
Obviously, as you can tell from this video, the roosters are the noisy ones. No one would know we had hens, but the roosters are pretty obvious.
Sometimes another reason is they hatched eggs or let a hen hatch eggs and they had too many roosters. That happened with our last batch of eggs we incubated. Ended up all 12 eggs hatched, 6 were roosters.
6 and 6. Which again, if you're raising them for meat, that can work. But if you have too many roosters and you're not raising them for meat, they'll start fighting with each other. There'll be too many per hen, and the hens will get, what's the right word? The hens will be bred too often, which is bad for them. You can have too many roosters in a flock.
And there are those times when you get a rooster who's just mean. Out of all our roosters, maybe 2 or 3.
That's what I was gonna say, 2 mean ones.
2 that were just really awful, who our kids wouldn't even go outside because of the rooster.
And we can't say that we've done enough where we could even tell which breed was mean or not.
Oh, this is kind of a cross section.
Yeah, right now we have a nice big Cochin, Fluffyfoot, and he is a very friendly rooster. Hardly ever does any aggressive behavior at all.
Yeah, because he's a rooster, you'll see it if he feels like his hens are being threatened.
Yeah, but it's very minimal.
We've been more give the roosters a second chance. You know, the kids are small. They can appear threatening to the chickens. So if the kids, especially if we have like friends come over and their kids are chasing the chickens, if a rooster is posturing or threatening the kids, we're not ones to say like, okay, butcher that rooster right away.
Right.
But there are some who are just regularly, to adults, to kids, they will attack.
Those roosters, you got to do something about. So what do you do? Whenever people email us and ask, can I drop a rooster off at your farm, we never say yes. We always say no. And one of the big reasons is because of biosecurity. We've heard stories about local farmers who people would drop chickens off at their farm without even asking. They just leave the chickens. And they can spread disease that way. And one person who raised birds, he lost his whole flock because of that. We hear stories of that from time to time. So we don't like to take chicken drop-offs if we don't know where they're coming from or what the flock's like. And another reason why we always say no is because we don't need another rooster. We have as many roosters as we need. And that's most likely the case with any other farm that you would be asking to bring your roosters to. They probably have the amount of roosters they need, and they don't need any more.
A few months ago, we had the problem of all those roosters we had hatched. And so we decided that we just had to butcher them. It wasn't an easy decision. They were roosters we had hatched, so we had seen them grow up from little chicks. Beautiful roosters. But we just had too many. And so we decided to take a day. I decided to take a day and butcher them. What are you girls sitting on? Just two little legs. Hens just couldn't take that many roosters. We didn't need that many roosters. So one day we went through them. We said, all right, let's pick the best, friendliest roosters, and the rest of them we'll just butcher. And that's what we had to do. When we moved down here, Mom had a few extra roosters. We had 2 roosters. Between the two of us, that meant we had 6 roosters. That's why this week we had to do a rooster butcher day. Really start eating more eggs.
And we gotta get the roosters that are brining.
Or selling them.
For us on our homestead, if we have a nice rooster and enough hens, we want to keep them and use them. They're a valuable part of the homestead. But if we've got too many roosters, not enough hens, or the occasional mean rooster, we do take a day and do a rooster butcher day.
And if you're interested in learning for yourself how to butcher a rooster, in an upcoming video, we're going to show you how to butcher roosters, specifically roosters. And you're also going to share a family recipe?
Yeah, I'll be doing a recipe that uses the roosters.
So we're going to make a short little series out of this. Here's the playlist, what to do with roosters. Keep paying attention to that playlist if you're interested in what to do with roosters. And of course, sign up to our email list so you don't miss any of our videos. Click that right there. Every Friday when we have the internet back, I will be sending out all our videos in an email. Good?
Right.